Hi, welcome to the Common Ground Garden. I'm Garrett, one of the members of the Common Ground Garden. I've been a member for the past 3 years now, actually going on to my 4th summer. And I'm just going to take you on a bit of a walk around the garden. So this is our sign for the Common Ground Garden, and we're kind of right at the center of our meeting area. Actually, it needs some cleanup. We're going to be doing our cleaning up this weekend, but we've got our picnic tables under the cedar trees here. I'm going to try and go around not too quickly. And this is the original part of the garden. This garden was started in 2019 by Joanne Brown of Whitevale. And these lands at one point had been confiscated by the federal government to build an international airport, the Pickering International Airport. And Joanne wanted to show what these lands could be used for rather than an airport. So she started this garden. What I'm showing you here is about the size of the original garden. The beds that are covered in straw are asparagus, and I believe she was the one that planted those in 2019. In 2020, Judy and Stephen took over and started enlarging the garden. And then COVID hit and they couldn't add any more people. So in 2022, a whole bunch of us joined and we started making this into a bigger garden. And so we've created a large vegetable patch with 5 main areas that we cultivate with vegetables for all of our members. And around the perimeter, we have a row of fruit trees. We have apple trees intermingled with, we have black currant, and over on the far side we have a long row of raspberries. Up in the north here, actually it's the south, we have a row of blackberries, and we have 2 rows of grapevines that were planted in 2023. So this is, I'm just going to pan over. This is the garden before we've done all of our spring cleanup. We actually have already done some planting out in the garden. The row covers are for our hardy greens that have already been put out. We've got a greenhouse here for cucumbers. Another greenhouse we've added this year that will serve as our nursery and hardening off station. And I'm just walking down to the lower perimeter, which is also the northern perimeter, which confuses me because I tend to think of going up as going to the north. And along the northern perimeter, we've also planted a row of small fruit trees and shrubs. So we've got some apple trees. This apple tree actually produced a few apples last year. We've got Saskatoon bushes coming up, and young hazelnut trees. Most of them don't look like very much, but these were put in the ground in 2023. They're doing really nicely, and I'm hopeful that these will start producing this summer. And over in the corner, we've got our little pawpaw patch, young pawpaw trees that were started from seeds in 2022, and we started with quite a few. Some have not overwintered, but we still have about 10 left, and they're on there. So this is their 2022, 2023, 2024. They're into their 4th season, and we're hopeful one day to have our own pawpaws. I'm going to take a break and then walk over to the West Orchard. So here we are on the other side of the driveway in what we call the West Orchard. And we started this last year. We were lucky enough to get a good number of trees given to us by Stephen's daughter. And so we planted 24 young apple trees. And this spring we've just added some black currant seedlings. They're hard to see, but in between each apple tree we've got 2 black currant bushes. So we've got 3 full rows of apple trees And then we have a row of young blackberries here they're not sprouting yet. They're dormant still, but they were planted last year. A row of raspberry canes that were planted last year. A young row of asparagus here. We planted over 100 young asparagus from seed, and they did very well over the summer. And we have our rows of strawberries here, which I'm going to uncover in a moment. To the west of us, we have a few rows of rhubarb, which are not quite up, and the rest is going to be our potato patch and our squash patch. And up on the south side, we've continued the fruit trees with various shrubs and trees. We've got some small dwarf cherry bushes, which these are D'Artagnan cherry bushes from the University of Saskatchewan series. And then we put in various fruit trees. So we've got some sweet cherry, peach, plum, and nectarine. And I've just been adding a few very tiny bare root trees this week. So we've got some Asian pear, more Saskatoon, and more hazelnut bushes. And eventually we're going to continue on in this direction, planting more fruit trees. So this garden, we now are up to 24 full memberships, and many of the members are families or people joining together to help us in the garden. And we work and plan together as a true community. So no one has one area of the garden. We share in the planting and the harvesting all together. So I hope you like the introduction to our garden, and you'll be able to see some of the updates from time to time. Take care, and we'll talk soon. Bye.